try to do a women's-based ministry. This one just happens to be local, which is really cool. They're right up the road. But yeah, I'm going to let Miss Catherine have it. And you're live.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Good. Boy, there's a lot of women out there. Man, I hope I can do this. I would normally not be here doing this. It would normally be Kristen Maddox, who is the founder of A Door of Hope. But you get me. I am the public relations director, and I've been with Kristen for about 7 years now. And the first day I met her, I shared a dream and a vision with her. And she fell in love with it. Little did we know that our vision was the same. She didn't know mine and I didn't know hers. She didn't know that years and years ago that I suffered from the age of 2 to 18 with childhood sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Anything a child could go through, I went through it all. And at the age of 16, I was able to actually escape that by the grace of God and get to a place that was safe. And at that moment, I had a dream. And God showed me at that time, before I even met him, that he wanted me to work with women and that I would be a house mom one day. Well, lo and behold, I am now the house mother of a new facility called A Door of Hope. And I actually just got promoted to that position this week, which I'm very excited about and about to step into. But I want to tell you a little bit about A Door of Hope before I go into that. Did you know that today many girls and women will die from drug overdose, domestic violence, from not having places to go? And that's what sets us apart, because we're a place right here locally. And we needed that here. There's nothing here locally for women that can help the women that we deal with. And that was one of the things that really sparked for Kristen, because Kristen was a 12-year heroin addict. And you don't normally hear people come out and admit that. But she came out and that's how she started. And you'll get to learn more about her testimony if you go online and read it on our website. But I want to read you some statistics, and then I want to ask you to do something for me. According to the CDC, and I just got these numbers today, in 2018, over 68,000 individuals lost their lives to the battle of drug overdose. 68,000. That's just in the United States. That's a staggering number. One person dies by suicide every 40 seconds, somewhere in the world, while up to 20 others are attempting it. We just read, who has Facebook here? Anybody have Facebook? In the little media world. I just saw a thing on my post the other day. A pastor, y'all. A pastor lost his battle to depression. This can't be. So I'm going to ask y'all to do a little exercise with me. Will y'all bear with me for a moment?
Yep. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. I want everybody to close your eyes for a moment. Okay? Close your eyes. I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and I want you to raise your hand if this applies to you. Raise your hand if you or someone you know has ever suffered from the following. Drug abuse. Remember, it could be you or someone you know. Childhood sexual abuse or sexual trafficking. Okay? You put your hands down. Post-abortion trauma. Okay, put your hands down. Domestic violence. And that's to also include child abuse. Okay, put your hands down. Emotional abuse. Okay, put your hands down. If you have had any experience with any of those that I just said, raise your hand right now. Now I want you to bravely, if you've raised your hand to any of those questions, to bravely look around. Open your eyes and look around. We've got a problem. That's what Adore Hope is. We are a place for women to go to, actually girls and women, because we take them from 13 up. 13 and up, y'all. At our Camp Hope last year, we had 14 girls. We keep it small because we need it intimate.
Yes.
We keep it small. Out of 14 girls, 8 girls, 6 months prior to the camp, tried suicide. 8 out of 14. This is why Adore Hope is out. This is why we're there. I've been there since the days opened. We're all volunteers. We don't get paid for what we do. I drive from Tickfall to Livingston every day, and I'm on the other side of Tickfall. I drive every day because it's worth it. And one of the things that really sets us apart is that we don't take grants. We don't do that because they cannot tell us. We cannot share the gospel. The only thing that's going to set these people free, set these women free, set your sisters, your mothers, your grandmothers, your daughters, your granddaughters free, is the gospel.
Amen.
Is Jesus Christ. And I love that you showed off your little Jesus tattoo, because that was my birthday present last year. And if you got up close, you can see it's an infinity sign. That represents the love of God that never runs out for me.
Amen.
The word that's there is SOAR, and it stands for Survivors of Abuse Rising Up.
Amen.
My bird is not your typical bird you will see in a tattoo. Mine's mouth is open with words coming out because I've gotten my voice back.
Amen.
Out of all the trauma that I've ever gone through and suffered, God has given me not only my voice back, but He's given me hope after the trauma.
Yeah.
So what does Adore Hope do? We give these women hope. We teach them the truth. Where's Miss Joanna? Where'd she go? Miss Joanna, I love what you were saying. Preaching the truth. Give them the truth. Talking about that confrontation and stuff. Give them the truth. Because that's the only thing that's going to help them. But the girls that we have right now, because we have a residential center, these girls have been fed with so many lies from people everywhere, they don't know what the truth is. So when we have counselors who have been there, done that, and yes, I've made a t-shirt, we have been able to go in there and get in the floor with them, cry with them, hold them, love on them, and say, you know what? I understand. I've been where you are. But let me show you there's hope after that. That's what I can sit here and tell you all the services and stuff we have, but I don't want to waste y'all's time up here on that back table in the, what do you call that, fellowship hall. I have sheets back there that tells you all the services. Everything we do is free. Jesus Christ didn't cost me a thing but surrender.
Amen.
And that's what we give these girls. The residential program is free. The clothing is free. We have so much stuff that we do. Everything we do there is free. And some of the statistics, let me just give you a few. These are just a few within the first 5 years that we've been open. In sexual abuse and self-harm, we've served over 481 women, just locally. That's just locally, y'all. For addiction, we are currently helping 539 women. This one was kind of tough. Domestic violence and depression, 723 women. Now, this is not counting this year, so these numbers are higher. But here's the one I love the most. Salvation. The women that never said they would step foot in church. The women that said, God will never take me because look at the track marks. Look at the scars. Look at the tattoos. We've had women come in there so beaten and so battered and so bruised that when they come in and they hear it's okay. It's safe here. You can share here because we know what you're going through. And they'll go, oh yeah, right. You know what we're going through? And we'll say, yeah. Let me tell you where we've been. Let me tell you what we went through. And when you can share where you've come from, and they can see the joy and the light and the pure, simple truth that's living in you, that gives them hope. And that's what they need. We had over 378 salvations. And that's all people of God. But we do need help. We do need help. We've had a huge transition here recently, and some of our directors are moving on to greater things in ministry, and so we have some vacancies in some of our departments. We need a clinical director, and we're looking for a public relations director because she's moving on to bigger and better things. And we need a media person who can do social media and website, keep that going. And what else do I do, Kim? Gosh, all these things are things I've been doing on my own because I don't have anybody. So I need your help. We need project volunteers, and we need event volunteers. We have a 5K coming up next month. I have flyers at the back table for that. We would like to see some of the churches get together and come have some friendly competition. Come and color blast your pastor. We have color blast your pastor challenges going on. And it looks good on bearded pastors, I will tell you. I only know that because my husband's bearded and we got him last time. And, so think about that. Think about ways that, you can come and be a part. And if God has done something in your life, or if you may be one of those statistics, and you need help, come and see me afterwards, because we can hook you up. We have free counseling, free classes, everything we do is free. We have counseling, support groups, we have a pregnancy, one-on-one with mommy and baby thing going on. We have clothes closets, we have food bank, we have, am I missing anything, Kim? I brought my receptionist with us, so she's my little backup. We have a ton of stuff that we do. There's so much that it's even hard to mention. But with our residential program, y'all, we've got one of our girls that just got there in January. We opened in January. She is phased up, about maybe 2.5, 3 weeks now, Kim? Her name is Stephanie. This baby thought that her life was over. She's 50 years old. She was a drug addict. And I can share this with you because she gave me permission to share. Never got a diploma, never finished school, never thought she could because she said she wasn't good enough. Her family told her she would never amount to anything. And she's only been there since January. This girl's on fire for God, on the road to getting her GED, has a steady job working for DSAD. For those of y'all who don't know what that is, it's Denham Springs Addictive Disorders. She's their receptionist, and they will not give her up. She has a car much better than mine. And she's got a job, y'all. She has a job. Look at history. She has a job. And she's living her life like she never thought was possible. Amen. She told me today, she says, Miss Catherine, I wish I could go with you. I said, I know, baby. But she's made commitments to serve and work at another church every Friday night for what's called, what do they call it? Encounter Recovery. They call it the ER. Where she's helping other addicts and other people going through the same thing that she just got through. All we can say is, but God. So if you want to know how you can be a part, whether it's by volunteering, whether it's by becoming a counselor, and we do all our own training and stuff, we will train you. Anybody can do it. If you have a heart to serve God, if you have a heart to see hurt women healed, we can train you. And don't think that you can't be a lay counselor. If you've gone through something and God's brought you through, He can do it through you. And I can guarantee that. So, if you have any questions afterwards, I'll be at the table. That's my story. Here's the mic.